Our students come and go and meet with the faculty time and time again. They have an opportunity to feel that some of the questions they are raising are being answered. They can come to the administration building and talk with those in charge of certain aspects of the college and feel like they can get an answer.
I feel very strongly that the majority of our girls, and I'm talking about the majority, really want to come to school. They want to abide by the code. They may have certain preferences for one thing or the other that we can work out, but they want to be here. They don't want to defy the rules. They want to be in school. They're happy girls. They're girls that have pride in their school and in themselves. But there is a small, I guess like in every other case, in this case a small minority that do have the attitude that this just isn't fast enough. It's not good enough for them. I'm sick when any one of my girls, and I have to call them that, does decide to take the law into their own hands or the rules and regulations and interpret them in a way that I don't think is proper, but they did, and I'm sorry.
As I'm concerned, I think that they went about it the wrong way. There's a proper way to do things and there's an improper way, and they went about it the improper way. Walking out isn't going to help them one bit, I don't believe. They could have sat down with Mr. Wages, our superintendent, and talked to him like I did yesterday, or they can just walk out and make things worse. Now, they walked out, so that's the breaks.
Tell me this, what would you suggest to the principal about students like this who put their mark on Bell High?
If they walk out, I don't want them coming back, personally.
To say this is the full force of tropical storm police may be true, but it stretches the point just a little bit. This is Rollover Pass on the Bolivar Peninsula between Galveston and Port Arthur. This is the spot where the tropical storm's eye passed on this evening. The residents around this area say they didn't hardly know police came through. Some wind, 40, 50 miles an hour, a 5-foot tide which closed the highway temporarily, no damage reported. The power along Bolivar Peninsula is still on, and the residents, for the most part, took it in a rather blasé atmosphere. Some of them moved into the Beaumont area to stay the night in a motel, not really knowing what police might do. The shrimp boats along the Texas Gulf Coast, particularly those along the Sabine Pass area, also moved up the Neches River to the calm waters of the Beaumont, the port at Beaumont, Texas. The people who live along this area were ready for the worst. The windows had been taped, the shuttered, the doors battened down, and in many cases the people evacuated. Sabine Pass particularly was interesting in that the bridge which connects Sabine Pass with the mainland was struck by a barge and burned 2 nights ago. The high water would close off the only highway which links it to Galveston. So the people, 900 of them, were evacuated. But for the rest of the Texas Gulf Coast area, police turned out to be nothing but a small kitty cat. This is Gene Thomas, Channel 8 News on the Move at High Island, Texas.
Coach, you've indicated that you would just as soon not discuss individual decisions made in the starting lineups that you've announced. Perhaps you could explain the basis upon which the decisions were reached to bench Morton, Neely, and Hayes.
Well, the thing that we have set for all of our positions is a performance level that we think will give us an opportunity to reach the championship. And this is our whole objective in this. And we based it, as I told the squad, starting the training camp, that the starting lineup will be based upon preseason performance, and everybody knew it, and everybody had the same opportunity to work at it. And the result is, this is a decision that we made because these men that moved in were performing well. I think circumstances would have to say on Craig Martin because he's actually in a slump more than in a performance situation, and he needs the time to work it out without the pressure of getting into the game again. Of course, from this standpoint, we feel that the decisions we made are best for our squad.
Among these members? None whatsoever, no. No, that isn't any part of it at all. We have so many groups within our organization. I would say that we probably we have more members in Georgia subcontractors of electrical contractors, better known as NECA, National Electrical Contractors Association, and possibly the mechanical contractors than we have any other group. But they are very strong in their own right, very strong in their own right. So they don't need us for any purpose of that nature.
It was organized in June of last year, but we started producing here on Tuesday. We cured our first hams, and we smoked our hams, and we have some around the cooler now for packing and finished goods cooler.
Tell me this, just what goes into producing a ham for the consumer?
Well, it's quite a bit go into that. Number one, when the ham come in, of course, it has to be cured. We make sure that they're clean, and then they have to be boned with all of the fat and the skin taken off and all of the trimmings taken out. And then it goes to the canning line where it's scaled and the proper weight is put into the can. It has to be vacuum sealed. Then it has to be cooked where it's a fully cooked ham where the housewife wants to serve it. And then it has to be chilled down properly and then packaged. Then it's ready to go to the shipping cooler. But it's quite extensive. I can go over it fast. But you have to kind of watch the operation there to see the pains that it takes to really get a product out to the consumer that she won't be disappointed with. The minority, we're here to serve the community and to grace the table, and that's what we're trying to do.
being a minority enterprise, that this will hurt or help you?
Oh, I haven't thought either way of it, because the main thing I think is that number one, Garland Foods is a quality house. And we put a plan to produce a product that any housewife will be proud to serve her table. And I think that any time that you have this type of objective in mind, where a housewife can buy a lean piece of meat that's pleasant to the taste, that's a quality piece of merchandise that she's not disappointed in, she'll buy it again.
I thought he presented this in a very, very fine way. He's calling forth for those who are reasonable people and rational people to speak up and to be counted for on the campus. And I think this is one of the areas in which those of us associated with the college may make a strong stand.
Why is it that on the small church-related institutions such as your own college, why have you been able to keep the serious disorders from occurring?
A small college has the opportunity to meet with the students more frequently than on a large university campus.
Well, we have no procedure on the felonies. Of course, if a person dies and we're notified by the relatives, we immediately strike their name from the certified list.
What happens if a person dies and the relatives don't think about it? What about, the people who die who you're not notified of?
Well, then their name stays on the list.
Is there any way that you ever get around to checking the number of people that die?
Not at this time, no matter.
Do you have any idea of what kind of procedure would you need more people to do this, or another system?
Well, we would need more people to update it for the deaths in a county this large, and procedure-wise, we just have to look into that. I don't know.
We are fortunate, and I'm sure Dallas is, from its inception, we realized that we were treading on possibly dangerous ground. And every meeting that we hold, every meeting that the national organization holds, we do have general counsel present. We have a young attorney who is a graduate engineer at Vanderbilt, as well as the fact that he's, of course, an attorney.
So in other words, they belong to the same organization,
Well,
but they're
he's our
still
general
competitors.
counsel. And he attends all of our meetings, and he keeps all of our minutes, as any corporate person would do, because we are aware that we've got to keep and keep this thing out of that area that you are concerned about.